Imp can handle all kinds of different jobs, from bound to unbound and from rectangular to jobs with an irregular shape. When working with rectangular jobs, it of course calculates the imposition using the trim box. But what happens when you have irregular jobs, such as the example we have here? In this job, there is a vector path that uses a spot color with a specific name. So how does Imp deal with that? Let's take a look at these two label jobs and drag them on top of Imp. Imp first asks us for product properties, which is important in many workflows, but for us, we are more interested in this dialog where it asks us for common import settings, and specifically in the section where we can specify what spot color names we're going to use. Imp already has cut lines filled in here, so hopefully our PDF files are correct, and I'm going to click OK and have a look. Imp creates two unbound components for us, and we can examine what it did with them by clicking the Edit button. So for the first one, when I click on Edit, I can see that there is a shadow around what is the outline of that label. So Imp indeed recognized the spot color that was used for the cut path. Now when I switch to the second job, it didn't. I have a rectangular job, and that's of course not what we want. Luckily, there is a way to fix this by going into the Import Geometry from PDF dialog. And in that dialog, I can see all the different spot colors Imp detected in this label file. And here I have the Dutch name for cut line. So when I select that and I say OK, I again get a proper shadowed outline along the cut line. So now these jobs are correct for further ganging or nesting. It would of course be more practical if I could fix this immediately. So let's close this and drag these files again. I'm going to skip this dialog once more, and then in the second dialog, I'm going to add that spot color name that we had in the second job. So now I have two spot color names separated by a comma. And I could set this as default by clicking on the default button that I have here at the bottom and then saying save as default. And from that point on, Imp would always use these cut line definitions that I have typed in here. So let's go OK. Let's check job number 1, which is still correct, and then go to job number 2, which is now also correct. The second option that we have when it comes to irregular jobs with cut lines is one that is mostly used in packaging, where in many cases I will have a separate file, such as a DXF file, that contains the structural information for the job. And in that case, I can drag the DXF file on top of Imp. I get a dialog asking me again what the names are, in this case for the layers containing cut, crease, and so on. I will change also the measurement unit used in my DXF file, and I can say OK. Again, I get the product properties dialog, which I'm going to skip, and I end up with an unbound component that correctly shows the cut line, also has indications for the crease lines in this job. Even without having a PDF file imported in here, I could now already do a correct ganging or nesting calculation. And this would allow me, purely based on the geometry of the job, to let Imp calculate what the best press is to use, what the best plate size is, and so on. And once I have the PDF file, I can go to Edit Content, where I can add one or more PDF files with actual design. And when I click OK, that gets imported into my package. And now I have a unbound component that represents this package that is fully ready to output as an imposed PDF file. Of course, there is much more that could be said about working with irregular jobs and specific tools for label and packaging workflows. But these were some of the basic options to properly import jobs with irregular shapes in INP.